It's incredible where this technology is going and what you can do with it. And that's just a tip of the iceberg. But the world is about to completely change.
You're watching Marketing Misfits with Norm Farrar and Kevin King.
What's up, Norm? My brother from another mother. How you doing?
Good. How's it going, Kev?
All right. So we're doing this episode in Vegas in front of an audience. We've never done this before.
Woo! Yeah, let's do it. Now, I think this is great. Reserving the Sphere. It's so cool.
Yeah, we went to the Grateful Dead.
I was talking about right now.
Oh, right now?
Yeah, I was pretending we were in the Sphere and it would be a bigger audience.
Oh, I see. Okay. 17,600 people in that Sphere. We've actually gone to 3 shows in the Sphere here. We saw the Eagles. We went with Rich and Mark and Bella on Saturday night to see the Grateful Dead show. And then we saw the what are their normal postcards from the Edge?
Postcards from Earth.
Postcards from Earth. So if you haven't been to the Sphere yet, it's an amazing experience, especially for a concert. It's really, really cool. So we came out a day early and did that. But Norm, you've had some interesting occurrences this week. Today was like a stressful day for you, wasn't it?
Why are you bringing it up? Friggin' luggage. My room wasn't made for a week. There's a lot of things happening. Like even walking over, it was crazy. So the Loop closed. We're standing in line for a half hour, 15 minutes. Then we couldn't find a taxi. So we walked, and I don't like walking, sweating like crap. And then finally made my way in here. But it took me 45 minutes to find it.
I know, when you came in, you were all sweaty. It's almost like that first time you went on stage at CellarCon.
I can remind me about that.
In 2017, Norm had not been on stage ever, or was it your...
Ever. Hold it. You know what? I am so scared. I had such stage fright. My sister-in-law asked me to do their emceeing, and I refused. I couldn't do it.
So in 2017, CellarCon did a big event with like 1,000 people here at, was it at MGM, I think it was.
Yeah.
Or Menlo, it's one of those. And they had a little green room for the speakers, and I was back there. My ex-wife was up to no good at the time, so I was back there just hanging out, and Norm was back there, and I see him, and hey, Norm, do a good job, not break a leg. And he's like, no. His sweat is literally pouring down his face, and he's popping aspirin or something to try to calm down. And it was like, it was. But you went out there and you kicked ass, but you were shaking. Now you do this all the freaking time.
Yeah, but watch my first 10 podcasts. I'm the same way. Like I was in the fetal position more than anything. But yeah, that day, not only I went up to the room and practiced it about 50 times, I had an ulcer. I was sick. And just before I got on stage, I broke a tooth. So,
those are fun times. You ever had diarrhea on stage?
Not that I'd admit to.
I had that one. I had that one time, and you're just like, that's the one time where I don't talk over. That's when I don't go over my allotted time.
That's the one time you don't bring up in a live audience.
I have a filter. You know that. But speaking of that, Norm and I go to a lot of events, and we find that a lot of the events, the best part is not actually the presentations. It's actually the going to dinners and the hanging out in the hallways and the meeting the people. And we're usually that's why we're the Marketing Misfits, because he and I'm not a big smoker. Norm smokes cigars. He's been doing it for a long time. He's a super knowledgeable on it. I only smoke and drink socially. At my house, I have probably $30,000 worth of alcohol in my bar. I've got probably $20,000 worth of cigars, and I don't touch them unless I have guests or only socially. But when we go to events, we smoke cigars just to chill at the end of the night, and we invite people to come with us. And we're closing down the club or closing down the place or something like that. And at the end of the night, Norm's always got the munchies. Doesn't matter if we're just 8 at 10 o'clock. At 2 o'clock, he's like, that's it, man. He's like, all right, where's the pizza place, or what's open? And we go and grab something. And we always have Coke Zeros. No one doesn't drink alcohol. So we always have Coke Zeros. And usually there's ice cream or something involved. And so we were at a podcast show in Washington, D.C. back in, was it August or something last year? And we're walking back to the room. We have some Coke Zeros and he settled for whatever the convenience store had. And we walk by this, like, it looks like one of those big vending machines with one of those little things like you get a teddy bear. You have the crane and he goes down and picks something up and you try to get the most valuable thing in there. But the most valuable thing, I was like, walking by, I was like, Norm, that looks like an ice cream machine. And he's like, what? And so we actually go over, and it's an ice cream machine. We had to play this game and like go down and get this little cup of ice cream and bring it out. Norm, what you took out, like 3 or 4 of them?
Yeah, they were good.
They were really good. And speaking of ice cream, you got to tell this story because it segues into our whole podcast.
But you know what? It's important because it's strategy. We meet all the time, 3 days, every other month for strategy. And this happened to be a strategy night.
It was a strategy. So I was doing a Market Masters event in Austin, and Norm comes down a few days early because we have a business called Dragonfish together that's about to launch. And we were strategizing. And that night, Norm was staying at my place in my guest room, and he had the munchies at 3 a.m. So he goes into my refrigerator, and I have some ice cream in there, some Bluebell ice cream in little cups, like single-serving cups. And he grabs one and starts eating it, just at the kitchen counter, and starts eating, takes a couple bites, like, this is kind of strange tasting. This is kind of weird. And he's looking at it, and he's like flipping it around. It's supposed to be confetti. Didn't have his glasses on, so I think you maybe went and got your glasses. Put it on, and he's like, holy, this little pattern on here looks like confetti birthday ice cream. It's pictures of little tiny dogs. It's dog ice cream. And so what does Norm do? He doesn't just like throw in the trash can. He buries it in the bottom so that if the next day if I pop the trash can lid, I won't even see it. He buries it in the bottom of the trash can, and then we're at dinner a couple of days later, and he tells a story. I couldn't stop laughing for like 30 minutes. But speaking of that, you're there for the Market Masters event, which was it's my premier event now. So if next year I'm clipping, and it's going to be the top level event, not BDSS, because it's so damn good. For both the people that come in the hot seat and the experts that come, and the way we do it's so cool. But one of the magics of it is actually bringing experts together, where I have 26 of the top experts in the world, my Dream 100 that actually come for this, and then the hot seat people spend 2.5 hours in a hot seat, and we diagnose their business. It's on a stage, it's in a conference room, and we go for an hour, and we go through all their pain points and nothing but questions. And they've already given us a dossier, so we've already researched their business. When they give me that, I then go curate 8 people that can help them. They come, they sit around the table, ask these questions, we take a break, and then the next hour is solutions. One of the girls, Falak, that came to my first one in September, was doing $1.5 million. She came back in February, 5 months later, not in the hot seat, but just as a audience member, what I call where they can watch the hot seats, and she was doing $5 million.
What's up, everybody? Your good old buddies Norm and Kevin here, and I've got an Amazon creative team that I want to introduce you to.
That's right, Kevin. It's called the House of AMZ, and it's the leading provider in combining marketing and branding with laser focus on Amazon.
Hey, Norm, they do a lot of really cool stuff if you haven't seen what they do, like full listing graphics, premium A+ content, storefront design, branding, photography, renderings, packaging design, and a whole lot of other stuff that Amazon sellers need.
Yeah, and guess what? They have 9 years active in this space. So you can skip the guesswork, trust the experts. There's no fees. There's no retainers. You pay per project.
So if you want to take your product to the next level, check out House of AMZ. That's houseofamz.com. House of AMZ.
She's more than 3x her business in 5 months. And I asked her, what happened? Is that because of the event, or is that because of you went viral on TikTok, or did Oprah Winfrey feature you? She said, no, I just actually implemented what I was told. That's the power of it. And the experts get a lot out of it, but not everybody can afford to actually go to this kind of like mastermind think tank. It's out of their budget or out of their time constraint. In person is definitely the best way to do it. You're not going to get anything close. But I was sitting at dinners, back to what I said earlier, with some of the best value I get. I was out here for Affiliate World with Greg. He's over here somewhere. And we were sitting at dinner one night, and this guy next to me was telling me about this really cool strategy. He's creating these little masterminds online with ChatGPT. And I was like, that's kind of cool and interesting. I never actually thought about it. He was like, yeah, you can do this and this and this. We're going to talk about it here in a second. I came back that night. Norm and I were having a cigar at my house.
Freezing our butts off.
Yeah, freezing our butts off on my balcony and having a cigar. And I told Norm about it, and Norm's eyes lit up. He got so excited. The next day I had to do some work for the event. So Norm sat on the couch all day playing with this concept. And he's like, holy cow, Kevin, you won't believe it. You want to take it from there?
Take it from there. So what it does is it mimics the mastermind or the think tank. So you have somebody on the hot seat. That could be your ASIN, whatever you like. Could be a person, could be another brand. And then you build you build a custom GPT around each person. So you go and research Kevin King and everything that Kevin King is, what he's involved with, what he specializes in, and you create a custom GPT. Then what you do is you do this for all sorts of people. Then what you can do is you can create your own mastermind or your own think tank. So when you have all these people talking, you ask the prompt to do it. The way that Kevin does it, you have somebody on the hot seat. You ask questions for about an hour, and then you get answers for what? Another hour. So most of the time, what we find is the questions or the pain points that the person's talking about has nothing to do with the answers that they're given. It's a whole other direction. Well, strangely enough, when you have these ChatGPTs, let's say of Kevin King in the Amazon world, it might be Matt Costa, it might be whoever, but they all have their specialties. It might be in copywriting, it might be in PPC, and you get them to cross-reference each other, ask a series of questions, and this is ongoing. So you'll see ChatGPT ask the questions, and then you'll ask it to provide answers back, and you'll find out that there's certain pain points, that it might go on a different direction. I do this, just to give you an idea, I do this for my, I do this for my YouTube. And I've started to do this, and we've come up with some amazing results lately. We took Perry Belcher, we've got 7 people in this mastermind or in this think tank. And all it is talking about the best titles. What would that look like? What are the keywords? And we talked to Mr. Beast, and we talked to all these guys, and we end up with a rough answer. And then we come back and we say, okay, this isn't good enough. We want to drill down on this. And then we'll come back and we'll make it short, like short titles with keywords that are most effective. And it gives us a list of about 4 or 5, and it tells us why each one of the experts is saying that this is the best title. So we do that for the thumbnails. So we did this, Kevin. We did this just before I came out. We put out 2 videos, and the 2 videos, for us, this is good. We had 2,300 views, and those are views, and those are mostly like 60% watch.
This is Lunch with Norm, right?
No, yeah, this is on the Lunch with Norm. So we had 2,300 views, and we had 1,900 views.
Now with the new OpenAI that just got announced this week, I haven't played with it. You should be able to have it create the actual thumbnail.
Yeah,
right there on the spot.
You son of a... I was just going to go there. I was later on. I said, right? I was going to bring that up. But
I had no idea.
But anyways, what ends up happening is I think we had over 2,000%, like on the day that we launched, better optimization. And this is all through ChatGPT. And we do it with our thumbnails. We do it with our titles. We do it with the description. And it's incredible. And it's all based on the mastermind, Marketing Masters. It's all based on that.
Yeah, I'm actually doing it when I'm taking the transcripts of the last 24 Market Masters think tanks I've done and actually creating like my own little LLM of what are the common pain points of Amazon sellers and actually factoring that in. Now, he does it with ChatGPTs, which is one way to do it, building an individual GPT for each person. I showed today, I think Ritu was in there, maybe a couple of you were in the talk that I did today, and I do it a little differently. I do it with O1 Pro, the $200 a month version of ChatGPT. And I just put in a big long prompt. I showed that in the presentation today. And then I put in the 10 people that I want. It could be Amazon. In my case, I was doing Amazon people because I said, analyze this ASIN and give me feedback. And then I told her, I want to see their discussions. So it would actually show me, if it takes like 5-6 minutes to get to this, it's doing all this reasoning in the background, and then it starts spitting out. I'm like watching their transcripts of the discussions. It's like Josh talking to Matt saying, oh, the second image should be this, or the third image should be that. And Matt's like, no, you should do a test on this. You should do this. You should do this. What if we move this little graphic and put a made in the USA over here? That'll help it because it says it's made in the USA, but there's nothing on the image. And it goes back and forth, and I tell it at some point, after the discussions go on, stop. And have them ask me at least 5 questions. And the whole thing stops in ChatGPT, and it says, it'll say, Michelle Barnum-Smith has a question for you. Here's her question. And it'll say, the next person, the next person, the next person. Then I answer the questions. All right, answer the question 1 is this. Answer question 2 is this. And so on. And then they continue on. I hit the final one and say, okay. I say, thanks for your answers. And they start discussing amongst each other again. And then it comes back and says, okay, because it's in the prompt. Now they're coming to conclusions. And then it spits out like 20 pages of each one of them making very specific suggestions, some better than others, but some that are gold. Like, you need to change your second image to say this because of this reason. You need to put this graphic. It's incredible where this technology is going and what you can do with it. And that's just a tip of the iceberg. A lot of us in this room dabble with ChatGPT to help write an email, to help analyze your PPC or something. But the world is about to completely change. And I don't think most of us realize how much it's going to change. One of the best, I told Steve Simonson at dinner last night, Steve's really on top of the AI stuff. And I told him at dinner last night, I said, after all these events, after Iceland, I'm going to go somewhere for 5 days. I'm going to just fly to some tropical island where I have a nice view of the ocean with a desk looking out the window at a nice view of the ocean. I'm going to sit there for 12 hours a day and just play on AI, because it's so much cool stuff that you can do right now. And if you don't have to be an expert. You just got to be one step ahead of everybody else. But it's changing so rapidly right now that it's crazy. You have time to play. And you always come out, Kevin, have you tried this? Have you tried this? So you make time. It's not half time. You make time.
Multitask.
You multitask. You're talented. That's right.
No, it's true. And by the way that you did it and the way that I did it, it's almost the same. So you can do, actually, I really like the way that they can prompt you to ask the question, because then you can give a more direct response. But in mine, they're already asking and answering the questions based on who they are. But I think that's, if you want to get more final drill down questions, I think it's really good. The way that you're doing it.
And you played some with the make.com automations and stuff, right? I mean, right now, agents are the future for us as sellers. I'll let him, he's the experiment, I'll let him talk, but just to set the groundwork about it. There's a gap, a bridge right now between agents and scripting. And make.com is probably the biggest well-known one that can do a lot of high-end scripting, kind of mimicking an agent. And N8N is another one that's really good. But eventually, those are going to be out of the loop. And these agents are going to have minds of their own.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Kevin and Norm here with a quick word from one of our sponsors, 8Fig. Let me tell you about a platform that's changing the game for Amazon sellers. That's right, it's called 8Fig. On average, sellers working with 8Fig grow up to 400% in less than a year.
8Fig offers both funding and free tools for e-commerce growth and cash flow management. And here's how it works.
8Fig provides flexible, data-driven funding tailored to your exact needs. You know, they can fund anywhere from up to $50,000 all the way up to $10 million.
8Fig gives you free tools to forecast demand, manage inventory, and analyze cash flow.
Visit 8fig.co, that's 8fig.co, to learn more or check the link in the show notes below.
Just mention Marketing Misfits and get 25% off your cost.
That's 8fig.co, 8fig.co. See you on the other side.
And you're going to have, if you're an Amazon seller, you're going to have, I believe, it's coming in the next couple of years, you're going to have like 8 agents that work for you. And you're not going to have all these VAs. You're going to have one VA overseeing them. You have an agent that's going out looking for product opportunities. That's its sole job. And as soon as it finds one, it pings a helium-10 research agent that validates it. Then it pings a Alibaba agent that actually is in this. The research agent says, we need to make these modifications. We need to change the handle this much. And the AI agent looks at all the supplier database and come back and said, oh, we got it. This is the price. And then there's going to be a listing agent that actually knows all the cool ways, all the cool tactics to do to make the images, all the right words to say. Then there's going to be a launching agent and then a monitoring agent. They're all going to work together, in synchronism, and you're going to just monitor it on top. You'll be able to take your company from 40 employees to 3, or something like that. I think that's coming. And the people that aren't on the edge of that, you'll be able to launch products instantly. I think there'll be 3D printing. It's going to evolve a lot. It's been kind of slow to catch up. It's been a kind of tinkering toy thing. But I think they're making 3D houses in Austin. For little houses that people live in, 3D printing. It's going to come where you'll be able to test a product and make 50 3D prints of a physical product that these agents have validated, have it on the market in a month. In a week. And I also think the agents with some of this deep research that Grok and OpenAI and the Googles, all those have, they can look in the past, and you're going to be able to analyze past sales data and past trends, because things in life typically go in 20-year cycles. If you look at the history of man, everything typically goes in 20-year groups, and there's 80-year master groups. But it can look back at all this history. They can predict the future, because right now we're selling based on past data. And I think where we're going to get is that these tools are going to look at the past data and go, I think this is what's going to be hot at Christmas this year, based on what was hot 20 years ago or 15 years ago or whatever. And it's going to be wrong probably 20% of the time. But if you act on that, you're going to have the product first to market, be in the stores first before anybody else. And 20% of the time, you're going to miss the mark. But most of us miss the mark 20% or more of the time now on the products we launch. So what's the difference? There's going to be major advances. But Norm is playing with some of this stuff now. Can you tell us what you're doing on our...
First of all, with the 3D printing, what do you guys think about doing a Kevin King bobblehead? I am pretty cool.
Now, them
orange
cool.
jacket. No, it would be with the cigar.
yeah, really good.
So one of the things, before we get to the make side of things, going about your agents and just building them out. So one of my companies has is press releases and content. So we had 20 writers writing press releases day and night. We had senior editors that would have to go and check them out, make sure spelling was right, grammar was right, everything was done right, the guidelines were right. We've eliminated 20 writers, and we have a senior editor, which we also have an agent as the senior editor. So we go research, writer, senior editor, but there is a human that actually goes through at the end. So right now, you'll see that press releases are a lot more expensive than they were even a year or two ago, because it's so much better. But it's a distribution still that costs a lot of money. But I throw that out, Brooke, because that's already taken place, and that's in less than a half a year we've been able to do that. 20 writers replaced. So, and is that a good thing? Yeah, it's a good thing. The writers might become editors, but we've got a really great senior editor. She does a super job. And we know that every time we go out there, this one. Okay, who's in supplements? Anybody? All right, so you know how hard it is to get that onto into syndication. It's almost impossible. We did 3 of them this week. All were okay, and we were able to do it just because the GPT, the senior editor, found a loophole. So, and that got distributed to almost 5,000 outlets, which that would not have happened a year ago. We might have got 50 outlets. So that's that part. But for a make, so I'll give you a system that we had. So I had a challenge to go, and I tried to be an influencer last year. And I thought, okay, how hard could this be? Freaking crazy. Never try to become an influencer when you're in your 60s. Doesn't work. But, we created the system, and the system worked where, okay, the company would come in. So we signed, as soon as they signed anything, we would have that automatically. So we created a spreadsheet. The spreadsheet we would have the signature, log into their listing. The listing would pull it over to a spreadsheet, and then it would summarize. So it would summarize what they were looking for. It would summarize the competition and the pain points and the pros and cons. But what the beauty was all right, what am I going to say? So, okay, let's script it for Facebook. Let's script it for Twitter. Let's script it for TikTok. Let's script it. Everything was done. And it wasn't done just in one way. There was different ways, different demographics, different avatars that was being pulled in for each one of these social media platforms. So I was able to create all these scripts, and then I would just sit down, turn on the camera, and just act like an idiot. And, it was all done. Something that would have taken a ton of time. I can't even tell you how much time, but tons of research, nothing. It was just done like that. And we did it for about 300 products over a period of a month. Yeah. Did I explain it right?
That's good.
I think so.
That's good. I followed along.
All right. So you followed along.
I'll follow along. If I can follow along, then we'll go. Cool. You mentioned earlier about YouTube and using the AI stuff for YouTube. What do you think about YouTube as everybody in the Amazon world, the hot silver object right now is TikTok Shop. But what do you think about YouTube as a marketing platform and how many people are missing the boat by not focusing on YouTube?
90%.
90%, just 90%.
Yeah, maybe 91. But okay, YouTube it's been out forever. Influencers and creators have been here for a long time. How many brands are actually using them? They're not. Some are, and some are using them effectively. But YouTube's the same thing. It's been there forever. And I forget who we just had on the podcast, but it is a best kept secret.
Yeah, the beauty about YouTube is you can go on TikTok Shop and you can go viral and last a couple of days. On YouTube, you have sales from stuff you posted 8 years ago. It stays, and people are going there more for how to do things, but you can do that. You can take your product and show people how to do things and grab a lot of traffic. And the algorithm there is pretty good if you do it right. There's certain signals that you got to give it, and you can actually grow. It's an equal playing field for everybody. It doesn't matter. They don't care how many subscribers you have. There's no advantage in the number of subscribers or number of followers. The new guy that just started, if he's got the right signals and gets that going, you can crush it. And now with their new stuff where they're translating into multiple languages automatically, that's pretty cool. And there's another tool out there that will do the emotion. So it will actually do the emotion of someone screaming or yelling or raising and lowering their voice instead of being monotone AI. And in the voice of somebody, there's some really cool stuff that's happening on YouTube.
On that note, they're also taking your video, and having you talk in Spanish and in Mandarin and whatever.
Your lips moving to it properly.
Yeah.
Not just dub, but actually properly. But YouTube right now, it's the second biggest search engine in the world. Advertising is dirt cheap and you can target your competition and target intent-based stuff. YouTube, they're allowing AI creation of video shorts now. And putting that out there, which can lead to your longer form stuff. But there is a magic to YouTube. The title and the thumbnail are huge. That's just like on Amazon, the title and your first image. Same thing on YouTube. But in the first 3 seconds of the YouTube are critical too, because most people don't make it past the first 3 seconds. So you have to have a hook. And there's tools like Creator Hooks and several other tools, vidIQ, and several other tools that will help you create these hooks at ChatGPT. But you can do really good stuff with YouTube, and we're doubling down on YouTube over TikTok or over Instagram or over Facebook because of the reach and the value that it has. So if you're not paying attention to what's going on YouTube, plus now on YouTube, I just read a stat: 34 or 37% of all YouTube content is consumed on a 75-inch or larger television. Most people think of YouTube as a mobile device. You're watching it's not. People are watching YouTube, sitting down instead of watching Netflix. They're watching YouTube for 6 hours one night, binging. And if you have your stuff there, and the YouTube algorithm will suggest other things. So someone's sitting there watching. If you're selling automotive stuff, and they're sitting there watching automotive car racing things or crazy car racing stunts, then YouTube will match the audience profiles to what you're selling. You can have your videos come in there. You can have ads come in there. And you can do really well with one punch. They're adding one punch where you can, just like Amazon is doing now when you watch Amazon on football games, where they'll say just hit enter on your remote, and they'll take you right to Amazon to order. You don't have to scan a QR code. You don't have to do anything. There's a lot of cool stuff coming. So I encourage everybody to take a look at YouTube.
Now, a quick word from our sponsor, Levanta. Hey, Kevin, tell us a little bit about it.
That's right, Amazon sellers. Do you want to skyrocket your sales and boost your organic rankings? Meet Levanta, Norm and I's secret weapon for driving high-quality external traffic straight to our Amazon storefronts using affiliate marketing. That's right. It's achieved through direct partnerships with leading media outlets like CNN, Wirecutter, and BuzzFeed, just to name a few, as well as top affiliates, influencers, bloggers, and media buyers, all in Levanta's marketplace, which is home to over 5,000 different creators that you get to choose from.
So are you ready to elevate your business? Visit get.levanta.io/misfits. That's get.levanta, LEVANTA.io/misfits, and book a call, and you'll get up to 20% off Levanta's gold plan today. That's get.levanta.io/misfits.
What are you seeing? Oh, we just hired a YouTube consultant. He was impressed. I mean, what are they saying?
Well, one of the things that you have to do, because what you told, they're going to be on an 85-inch, or like you have a 200-inch TV. But imagine
here in Texas.
Imagine doing a Zoom call. It looks great when you're on a Zoom call, but because of the compression afterwards, it's like 480. You want to be 720 and up. You want to be at 1080 and up. But if you're going on a big screen TV and all of a sudden you're pixelated and your mic's over here and it sounds like crap and you've got no lighting, or the lighting that you have on your background, you're kind of ghosting in and out, nobody's going to watch that. It just won't happen. So that's the very first thing. If you're going to do something kind of like what we're doing for your brand, is that you've got to have good equipment. You got to invest in good equipment, the background, create a studio, or make sure that the creators are like that.
So is this one we have to wait 5 minutes before we record our podcast, or you do your makeup?
Does your voice
wondering?
Does your voice get on your nerves too?
Sometimes.
Okay. All right. So, but with YouTube, you've got an excellent opportunity to repurpose. And that's where this consultant took a look at what we were doing and said, they loved what we have. We both have newsletters. We have the podcast, and we're out there. So they're looking at it and they're saying, okay, put out your podcast once a week. From that, make sure that you have your repurposed clips. One thing I didn't realize that I learned about this is the guy said, okay, you got the finished podcast. Now go back and re-ask the questions. What was the hot? Like market, if something hot came up. And so now, after the podcast, hey, Kev, or hey, so-and-so, or what do you think so-and-so is going to say about it? Or what are the five points? And then you can edit it, put a bit of background music behind it. Now you've got all this additional repurposed content that you could put on video. You can repurpose it to all the different platforms, including TikTok. It's the big talk today, or nowadays. But then you can repurpose it audio. Then you can take it over and you can do some funky video with it. But you know what I like doing? I go over to Notebook LLM. Most people know what Notebook is.
Yeah. You don't know what Notebook LLM is?
You would know. But Notebook LLM is a Google lab. And all you have to do is go to Notebook. I think it's notebook.google.com, but just type in Google LLM and you can log right into it. And it's incredible. So what I do is I'll put in our conversation. I'll go to an app like Descript. I just grab the transcript, I load it up, and it will go and it'll create an interview. Well, first of all, it'll create all these FAQs. Then it'll take all this information, it'll extract it, sort of like a course curriculum. Then I have an interview and I could hear what they pulled out, or I could actually prompt it to say, what were the 5 main action points that, and then we'll have 2 people going ahead and talking about it makes a podcast.
You could use it to train your staff. I mean, take your SOPs or take your transcripts, and it will actually create two people, man and a woman usually. Now you can, I think, modify that a little bit. And it will take the stuff and it will create its own little script where they're interacting with each other in tone and joking and bringing up stuff. It's freaking amazing. So if you haven't played with Notebook LLM, I highly encourage you to take a look at that.
But not only that, now I can interview them. So I can go in and I can interview them, so it could be reciprocal. So it's super cool. Plus, so let's say that you have another aspect that you want to cover. So it's really broad, but now you want to narrow it down. Well, now you can have a completely different conversation with it and you can modify it. So now if you want to learn, maybe there's 3 learning points. Now you can have interviews, podcasts for these 3 learning points. And that's your podcast. Without doing anything, you can come up and create a podcast with that. And from there, we have a good friend, Colin Campbell. He has his podcast that he does that exact same thing. And then he does deep research. So his newsletter, which is doing really well right now, is just deep research about his book, Start, Scale, Exit, Repeat. And he brings out a new chapter or a couple of pages. I guess it's one small section each time he puts out this newsletter. And it's awesome. But the next thing you do, and we just talked about it, we're going to be doing it. I'll let the cat out of the bag, but faceless videos. I think it'd be fun. So that's just it's literally what it is. We're going to be chatting away, animated, and it's just basically what we're talking about, but we'll be animated.
And you can just pump out content for your brand and for everything, just amazingly quick and stuff. You talk about Syllabi and stuff.
Syllabi.
Yeah. Syllabi.io is a really cool tool for creating animations in like 20 different formats of videos. You can take yourself, it'll make a character out of yourself and put you in the videos. Or if you have an avatar for your brand, put that person in there. It'll help you write the scripts. And then it takes about 5 or 10 minutes to render, and it'll render out an entire video in a cartoon format, an anime format, a realistic format, all these different formats with or without subtitles in whatever language you want. And it creates some amazing stuff that you can pump out a lot of content for your brand on how-to stuff or educational stuff really, really fast. There's so much going on in the AI world. Ritu's here. She's on the leading edge of a lot of that stuff. It's mind-boggling where this is going, and we've barely touched the surface of it. One of the things that we should tell them about. Remember that meeting we had in Montreal with that guy?
Oh, I know the guy.
Yeah, I know. You know the guy. Do you want to tell him what that crazy stuff is doing?
Yeah, sure. So we met this guy. So there was a guy, and we're
not telling you his name.
Yeah. So we were having cigars in Montreal. So he's a AI engineer, and he came up with something that if you were trying to figure out somebody by the name of Lauren Petrullo, and you wanted to know what made her tick, it would go out there. Yeah, just wait. So it would go out, it would scrape everything about you, and then if
all your socials, read every single post, every blog you've ever made, every picture you've ever posted on any social, and make a profile, and he knows what kind of dog you have, the name of the dog, anything you ever posted about your husband, everything.
Yeah.
And then
let's say that you were doing an email, and maybe it's a newsletter, and you wanted to grab the person's attention. So they've already signed up, but they have a pet newsletter, and now they're going to know basically what kind of pet you have: large pet, small pet, medium pet. And to get you more engaged, they could send out either an email to get you to engage, or this newsletter that is personalized to each and every one of you. Nothing is the same. Crazy.
Yeah, the example I give is it could know that Lauren has we're picking on Lauren. Lauren has that's okay. She went on our CMS trip with us, so we can pick on her. But if you're doing, say you're selling dog beds, as an example I like to give, and you are targeting, you have a list of people that are dog owners, and you want to really hone in on them, you could send let's say it's 1,000 people, all 1,000 people the same email. Hey, we just launched a new really comfortable dog bed on Amazon. It's got this special foam, it's got all this kind of stuff and everything. Whatever your differentiating factors are, all good. But if you could send an individual email to each of those 1,000 people that will actually get them engaged and say, that's me. Can you imagine the power of the conversion and the open rates if the subject line says, oh, that's for me, and they start reading the first paragraph as a story that relates to them? So I can use these type of AI tools to go out there and scrape the internet of all your customers. I'll get it like 95% of them. There's a few people that are still private that don't post anything, but most people do. They share their world. There is no such thing as privacy in the United States. And they will grab it and they'll start off with a subject line, some catchy subject line that says something about the best bed for German Shepherds, because I know you have Lauren, I'm just making this up. She has a German Shepherd. The best bed ever for oversized German Shepherds, because she got large German Shepherds. And then the first paragraph is like, it's a story. Because if you can lead with, they call it the 8-second, in video, they call it the 8-second lead. And you want to start off with 8 seconds of a story if you can to bring people in. Because if you just start off like, hello, how's the weather? It's a nice day. Or you start off with a sales pitch, and you're going to lose people right away. Remember that 3-second rule I said on YouTube. So if you start with a story, so I was walking down the street with my I was going through the woods on a hike with my German Shepherd, and we encountered such and such or whatever. And my German Shepherd tripped over a stick and hurt its leg. So it was stuck in this bed for two weeks or whatever. And it was a such and such type of bed. And this bed was so amazing. But I know that Lauren has a German Shepherd. I know that she likes to take walks in the woods because she's posted pictures on Instagram with her German Shepherd. And I can pick up all other kinds of points from her social media and mix them in. You don't want to freak her out and say, I know your German Shepherd's name is Larry or whatever. But you can do this kind of stuff. And you can do this now with video. And with video, you can actually, there's tools like HeyGen and some others where you can do custom videos. You can send a video and you can use Syllabi and something like that to actually make a custom video for every single person with their name and their dog's name in it. And they just think that's coincidence. Like they know the caller says Larry. That's it. Or whatever you want to do. You can get freaky with this and freak people out, or you can be subtle. But if you let your imagination run, the way you can market this stuff is crazy. And you can drive traffic and really resonate and build raving fans. All you need is really 1,000 raving fans, and you've got a multi-million-dollar business if you treat those people right. We're always looking for that next new customer, but the gold is usually sitting in our own list already that we're not using.
Are you looking to quickly boost new Amazon product launches or scale up existing listings to reach first page positioning? The influencer platform Stack Influence can help.
That's right. Stack Influence pushes high volume external traffic, sales straight to Amazon listings using micro influencers that you only have to pay with your products.
They've helped up-and-coming brands like Magic Spoon compete with Cheerios for top category positioning, while also helping Fortune 500 brands like Unilever launch their new products.
Right now is one of the best times to get started with Stack Influence. You can sign up at stackinfluence.com or click the link in this video down in the description or notes below and mention Misfits, that's MISFITS, to get 10% off your first campaign. stackinfluence.com.
Yeah, well, what would be crazy too is if you have a large dog, so a St. Bernard, and you know the St. Bernard is 5 years old, does that have hip dysplasia? How can you help it? I mean, there's so many ads that you can run for that. It could be a supplement. It could be an ad for a vet in the local area. There's so many things that you can do.
Yeah, and email, a lot of times I say email, like people are like, oh, email's dead. Nobody reads their email, but it's actually not true. Email is 4.2 billion users in the United States check their email daily. Not in the United States, in the world, check their email daily. And 92% of all people it's 4.2 billion have email accounts, and 92% check it daily. And speaking of that, I mentioned this, most of you probably missed my talk today. A few of you were in there, but there's tools now that you can use. A lot of us get 200, every day I wake up, Norm has a EA that filters some of this. He's got some sophisticated filters. He's more advanced than me. But every day when I wake up, there's 200-300 emails in my inbox, and it drives me crazy if that little red dot is there. So I have to like get rid of that damn red dot that says, someone showed me their phone once and said like 17,322 unread emails. I was like jonesing. I was like shaking on the ground. Yeah. Yeah. So he's laughing over there. So I look at my emails, but sometimes if I send an email, a marketing email for my customers or a newsletter or whatever it may be, it's going to get shifted down. If more emails come in, it gets moved down the stack. And when you're going through them quickly, you're just deleting, filing, moving this one over, whatever your system is. If I could land in that inbox at that moment that you're checking your mail, the chance with a good subject line, using some AI tools, the chance that you open that mail goes up from about 10% to about 95%. Because you're in the inbox, you're in the moment, you're in the mindset of checking the email and sorting it. And I'm checking it, my email, and boom, 30 seconds later, here comes a brand new message. Ding, the bell goes off, you got mail. And it's a very targeted message. I'm going to probably get you to open it. There are tools from inbox mailers that will do that. They monitor, and they will let you ping people in their inbox when they're in their inbox. Just like sometimes if you get spam phone calls, a lot of times those spam phone calls come in when you're on the phone or your phone is active and live. Maybe you just made a phone call. You're like, why is someone only giving me spam calls? Because they know your phone is active and they know it's live. It's the same thing on inbox. So I'm doubling and tripling my conversion rates right now by doing that to get leads for my newsletter, and at a cost of about 70 cents a lead instead of $2.73 on Facebook. And I can target with that. All you brand owners, you can target people that are in market for certain types of products using Audience Lab or some of these other tools. But my guys, Trend Letter, the ones that do it, they target people from Smart Scout, from Helium 10, from Jungle Scout, and from my Amazon guy, I think is the 5 that we're doing right now, we're testing. So they can target people that have been to those websites, and I show up in their inbox when they're checking their mail with my offer. You can do that for your dog brand. You can do that for your supplement brand. You can do that for anything. The technology that's out there with AI is crazy if you know how to use it from a marketing perspective. There's some other cool stuff you're doing too.
Well, yeah, one of the things is having my EA sign your name to a ton of emails so you have that little dot all the time.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. So hot things on what, email?
On any of that, AI, anything AI.
Oh, AI.
What are you seeing that's hot out there?
There's so many things. There's 5,000 different tools out there. But one of the things that we're working on, we have an account, is with copywriters. Copywriters. Yeah. It's unbelievable. Yeah, we went to and this is why we always should go out to these conferences, and not always Amazon conferences. Kevin and I kind of split up, and he'll go to some different conferences and I'll go to some different conferences. Or if we go to a conference, we have these really cool devices called plots. We don't even have it up here, but we go in, we don't even have to listen. We just put it on there, it records, it summarizes everything. That's hot AI. So we share notes. So he'll divide the room. I'll go into the other half of the room, and then we'll compare notes and see what's hot. It's called Plaud, Plaud. The other thing I was just talking about is this Mario, it's Genesis. I think it's called the best copywriting I think I've ever seen.
No, this is ridiculous. We went to the Harry Norcher's AI Bot Summit in January in Orlando. And he had this guy named Mario up on stage. And for about an hour, he just walked through this process of how he's researched all the greatest copywriters of all time, all the greatest psychology books of all time, all the stuff, all the greatest ads of all time, all the greatest products, design, packaging designs and everything. And then he put that into his own little LLM. Basically create his own little it's not a GPT, but it's like his own little miniature LLM. You log into his website, then it pops up Poe, P-O-E, and it runs through Poe. So it's a security feature too, to keep people from sharing it. But some of his prompts, he said, are 19,000 words.
I think one was 50. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, 50,000. And it's ridiculous what this thing will do. I mean, it's $10,000 for this tool. We got it for $3,000 because we were at the show, so special at the show. He gave a 10-day demo for free. Me and Norm started playing with it, And we're like, holy cow, we got to buy this thing. So we did. It has tripled my conversion rates on my, just to give you an example of how much money that's already made me back, even if I paid $10,000, my newsletter, I'll make about $500,000 profit in my pocket this year off of my $1 billion sellers newsletter. That's not counting how many people come to a BDSS event or buy a live stream or something else. That's just within the Amazon, the newsletter ecosystem of ads, affiliate commissions. What I do is you get the newsletter on Mondays and Thursdays, and there's ads in there, 2 ads that people pay for. And usually there's an affiliate commission involved, but those are cheap. But where I make my money is on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I send what I call a dedicated email. And I'm now adding it Fridays. It's a single email for a single sponsor. And they pay $4,000 for that one email. And it goes out to the list. And it's Trace Fuse promoting something, or it's one of the other companies that are promoting something. Levanta does it. But Chris Rawlings does a PPC challenge for his course. He tested it about 6 months ago, and it did so well he kept buying more. And just recently he came back to me and said, I'm going to lock up the rest of the year. And he wrote me a really big 5-figure check. And one of the reasons that I closed that deal is because I started using this Mario bot on some of his copy that he would send me. He's a good copywriter. And it would change it. It was doubling and tripling his conversions and open rates. And it's crazy where this stuff is going. And this tool, I just had an example. I haven't even told you this, Norm. My brother, and he lives in Dallas. My younger brother is 3 years younger than me. His fiance owns one of these little tiki boats. And it's one of these little tiki boats is like, goes on the lake. And you sit around a little bar, and it's like a circular boat. She takes out bachelorette parties, and people just want to get drunk and whatever. And she just bought this franchise, and she's having trouble. She's running some Facebook ads. And she's like, they're not working. And I was like, let me see the ads. And my brother shows me one of the ads, and her first ad was 20% off this weekend. I'm like, nobody's going to buy that. That's a retargeting ad. You got to actually educate them first. And my brother knows nothing about marketing. He's like, yeah, that's why I'm talking to you. I said, what's her website? Just give me the link to her website. So he gave me the link to her website. I put it in this Mario bot, just put it in. I didn't type any prompt, nothing, just pasted it in. And within about 5 seconds, I had 50 different marketing angles, 25 different Facebook ads done, all this crazy stuff. I sent it to him, and he's like, holy cow, this is freaking amazing. If you're not using these type of tools in your Amazon business, and you're just using the basic stuff, and the people that are on the show here, most of the people that are on the show, you're losing. You're going to lose, and somebody's going to kick your ass. So I encourage everybody here to get outside of this Amazon bubble. I said in the Amazon world a bunch that I think there's people doing $5 million a year on Amazon now. They're going to be doing $500,000 3 years from now, because you're going to get your butt kicked by people that are on the leading edge of the CI. On the opposite too, people that are actually doing low, they have this competitive advantage by using these tools that are out there that they can blow up.
There's a lot of, like at Prosper today, tons of great companies, but it's the other companies, the other half, or the other, I don't know how many, but are out there that you don't know about. Most brands will never know about them. They're going to stick within this ecosystem. But if you go out and you go to the Go High Levels or the AI or the AI summits or Driven or whatever it is, that's where you get to know people who know people, get to know great apps like at AI Summit. Well, there was a ton of great new apps that came out.
Celebi came out of that.
Yeah. Celebi came out of that.
And these are people that know nothing about Amazon, but we can see that, hey, we can apply this to our Amazon, our physical products business. I mean, Perry Belcher is probably he's a little rough around the edges. Some people don't like him because he's a little crude at times and whatever. But
He's not crude.
He's a brilliant marketer. He's one of the top copywriters alive today. And he's doubling down on AI. But an interesting thing that just recently happened is he came out to my $1 billion seller summit last year in Hawaii, and he's just kind of trying to learn more about the Amazon space. And he was kind of blown away at the speakers and the level. He just didn't realize the depth that some of the speakers at Amazon have and what's going on. And then he came to my Market Masters event like 4 weeks ago as an expert for 2 panels, sat in on 2 panels as an expert. And he had everybody glued to every word he said because he's telling story and really analyzing this guy's thing. This fellow sat in the hot seat, doing $10 million a year on Amazon with one SKU, a travel neck pillow. And he's having some trouble expanding from the European market to the US market. And so we took a look and gave him a bunch of suggestions and advice. And Perry, I'm in his Driven Mastermind, which is $35,000 a year. It's 103 of us, I think. I think there's 3 Amazon sellers, me, Isabella Ritz, and like one other, Howard? No, Howard's not here. No, Jamie used to be. They're not in anymore. 1 or 2 others that are in there maybe. So it's all these internet marketers that are coming from a different world. And Harry came to this Marketing Masters and sat there after looking at this guy's thing, and we were on one of the weekly calls that we do a couple weeks later. He was talking about going to it. And he's like, man, I can't believe how ignorant these Amazon people are when it comes to marketing. They have no clue on marketing. Us marketers could come in and crush them. We should set something up where we actually pull together, either offer a service or offer something to show them proper outside marketing that they can apply to their Amazon business. They don't know Amazon. They know marketing. But if you can marry those 2 things together, I think there's massive opportunity. And that's one of the things that Norm and I are doing right now with our new company called Dragonfish that we'll be formally announcing this summer. But we have 6 different silos in this company that we're doing. We have an AI division. We just did an AI webinar. Ritu spoke on it. And there's a lot, and we had a guy named Dan that came on there and blew everybody's mind. He crushed it, and it just flabbergasted everybody. And like, that's cool. Or just like but I don't have time for that, or I don't know who to hire to do that. So we're going to be doing some of that for people. We're doing branding. We're doing newsletters. We're doing press release stuff, a little bit of managed services.
Media silo.
There's a media silo, like 6 different silos. And the idea is to try to help people integrate all these different disciplines into one so you can bring yourself up. And Scott Dietz is in the room. Is Scott still here? No, he left.
He had to take off.
Well, Scott Dietz was just at the Titan event in Cancun, or he actually broadcast in because he had a medical thing. But he gave a talk about how in the Amazon space, especially if you're just an Amazon business, you're a one-legged stool. And he's like, you've got to get out. All that whole aggregator thing and buying ASINs, that's all dead. And right now, the big thing is you've got to diversify and you got to add in all these other channels. And if you're not doing that, you're going to be a sitting duck and disappear. And he's seeing that on the buy side, big changes in the market of what people are actually looking for. So that's one of the things that we're trying to do with Dragonfish. And then the Misfits podcast, as we came out with that, is a way to actually reach that audience and to build. Because a lot of people, I was just at a newsletter conference, and all the newsletter people were saying every newsletter should have a podcast because podcasts are intimate. It's talk radio. You're listening to it when you're working out or you're driving your car. It's that one-to-one, that voice in your ear, and one of the most powerful mechanisms. So some of you may actually, depending on your brand or what you do, you might want to consider doing a podcast. Now, podcasts are work. The average podcast only makes it to 7 episodes, and then people quit because it's work, but they're super, super powerful.
Hey, Kevin King and Norm Farrar here. If you've been enjoying this episode of Marketing Misfits, thanks for listening this far. Continue listening. We've got some more valuable stuff coming up. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're listening to this on your favorite podcast player, or if you're watching this on YouTube or Spotify, make sure you subscribe to our channel because you don't want to miss a single episode of the Marketing Misfits. Have you subscribed yet, Norm?
Well, this is an old guy alert. Should I subscribe to my own podcast?
Yeah, but what if you forget to show up one time and it's just me on here? You're not going to know what I say.
I'll buy you a beard and you can sit in my chair too. And you can go back and forth with one another. Yikes! But that being said, don't forget to subscribe, share it. Oh, and if you really like this content, somewhere up there's a banner. Click on it and you'll go to another episode of the Marketing Misfits.
Make sure you don't miss a single episode because you don't want to be like Norm.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm 100% agreed. What I just remembered when we're talking about Matt earlier on, a new ChatGPT integration, which is for images. I just remembered it. I don't know if anybody heard the announcement, but yesterday, ChatGPT came out with this image enhancement tool. And I don't know if you played with it. I was with Matt at lunch, and he showed me, and it's freaking crazy. Like all you have to do, you know how you go into 4 or 4.1, you just press and you can see canvas or search or browse. Well, now it's that image.
Yeah, so I heard that's doing text really well. A lot of AI does garbly.
Well, he showed me a car.
And you've had to use ideogram. But ideogram just yesterday announced 3.0. After that, like, oh, wait, we got something too. Here's 3.0. So it's you're going to have the same shakeout in AI that you had with the browser wars. some of us are old enough to remember Lycos and Alta Vista, and Yahoo was actually the number one search engine at one point, and then everything moved to Google. The same thing's going to happen, I think, in AI.
Yeah. So just going back to that, so he showed me this car and it looked like crap. And all of a sudden it was this beautiful Lamborghini or whatever it is. And then the second one he showed me, which I thought was really cool. How many people have really crappy images and they want a 3D rendering? All it said is make this a 3D rendering, and it extracted it and made a beautiful 3D rendering. So that was with a simple prompt, not getting into it.
Yeah, where AI is going is amazing. So hopefully we're at time now. Well, it's already been an hour. Can you believe it?
Well, we should talk about sitting around the campfire,
Go ahead.
just like we're doing. So Kevin and I have this thing called CMS. You might have heard of it. We've had these experiential experiences all over. Well, the first one was at the Austin Formula One race, where we got a cabana, and we just had a great group of guys. We went to a lot of concerts, private concerts, but it's just for individuals, like-minded individuals who want to sit around the campfire and talk story and just have a great time. There's no mastermind presentations or anything like this. And it all started when we went to Howard Ty's event in France, right?
Yeah.
And it was late evening and we were all sitting around, and all of a sudden we just started talking. We said, we're learning more. Howard, I'm sorry if you're here. But we're learning more around this campfire about life in general and business than we ever had at any event. And so we went out afterwards and we said, it was a day later, you got to do something like this. And so we came up with Collective Mind Society, and we've had 2 events so far. Lauren's been at the one. So one was the F1. The other one was the Rocky Mountaineer. We had a great trip throughout Canada around the Rockies. Oh, there she is back there. And Costin was there too. And this year, for any cigar smokers, or even if you're not, come out for some fun. We're going to Tampa in November, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to go to a world-renowned, it's called the Cathedral. We're going to go to Ybor City, and just...
Cathedral's a cathedral converted into a cigar bar.
Right. And then Ybor City is like the place for cigars. Tampa was known for that. And then we'll probably end up at J.C. Newman at Cigar Factory. They said we could probably roll a few cigars and, try our hand at it. And there'll be a couple of other events. I'm not sure what they're going to be, but it's going to be fun. So if you're a cigar lover and you want to be around like-minded individuals and just have some fun, talk story, you'll be invited. So look out for the email that Mario Bot's going to write.
That's right. That's right. Well, cool. Well, Norm, I think that's it. So before you hit that stop button,
Just allowed to.
what are we going to do?
But dance? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't want to see you dance.
Saw me last night.
So if you want to learn more about Marketing Misfits, you can go to marketingmisfits.co. Is it .co or .com? I already did a year now.
Okay.
I know, you'd think I've memorized it.
It's
marketingmisfits.co, not .com.
That's right.
If you want to check out our past episodes, there's some amazing episodes with some amazing people. You just got to go check it out. You can check it. There's a link there. It's to watch the previous YouTube videos or listen to it on Spotify or Apple Podcast or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. New episode comes out every single Tuesday. If you like this episode, please hit subscribe to the channel and hit share. Share it with a friend, because the algorithm likes that. That's the number one thing, is sharing over likes or comments. Because actually, when you share it, it's like the juice of like 50 likes. Especially on YouTube. So if you share it, that would be awesome. But we'll be back again next Tuesday, but not on a stage.
Not on stage, but yeah, next Tuesday we'll publish a new podcast.
That's right. We got some really cool ones coming up. So thanks, everybody. Norm, I'll see you later.
All right. We'll see you later.